It is that time. It is season 3 of Coleman on Purpose. This is David J. Coleman, and I am thrilled to be back starting my podcast again with season 3 of Coleman on Purpose. I left for almost an entire year from podcasting, and it is great to be back. I was never going to stop podcasting from the very beginning. Like I wasn't just going to quit or anything like that. But I thought I had run out of so many fresh ideas and things to talk about within the time frame. And I just needed a break to just continue finding myself outside of podcasting and outside of the camera and just get back into like my first love. And I'm going to talk about it in this episode because this is called I'm Back David. So I know you're like, why is this just I'm Back David? It's because I wanted to get back to the root of what my podcast was all about from the very beginning. I spent a lot of time over this past year here and there just listening or re-listening to some of my past chapters or episodes of the podcast, and during that time I heard things that may have, even within the past year, changed within me, or that I've grown to learn more things even in the past few years that I've been doing this. It's so amazing to just see how your journey continues to just go and go and go as you go through this. And this is what this podcast was all about. I wanted to make it for people that didn't really have a voice or were kind of looking around to see like where they fit in or what they want to do with their lives or what their purpose is in life. And I'm realizing, of course, that purpose is a lifelong journey. Finding the things that you do. Yes, you can find purpose, but even while you're in the midst of finding what that purpose was, you're still going to be finding yourself and finding things that enhance that purpose that was given to you. So I wanted to get back to the root of things, like why I was doing this. Like I was telling my story about my brain injury, the different things that went on, my different experiences at church, talking about all different ranges of things, and had on some very interesting guests. And let me tell you, this season is going to be no different because I'm going to bring on even more guests to talk about things which I didn't really get to cover in some of the first seasons or chapters of Coleman on Purpose. But I am back here at the age of 42 for my 42nd episode. Get that? I love how it all works out. So we are back. And before I even begin this, I'm going to start beginning my podcast with saying this first. I am not a pastor. I am not coming from a place of a minister. I am on a journey like everyone else. So I'm here to talk about what this podcast series is, or talk about what purpose is to me. And that is all I'm doing. That's why I call it purpose podcasting. So it is not telling you any advice, not telling you, it's just giving you my perspective on things that I want to see from myself and what I would like to see in the world around me. So this whole year that I've not been podcasting has been so interesting because at the end of 2023, I officially joined a new church, and it was so needed in my life. I had been going to a much bigger church at a certain point in time, and I'd been there for quite a while, and I just felt very mixed in or just stuck in that groove of things where I really wasn't growing much. I wasn't experiencing much. I didn't still know too many people, even though I tried to like fit into all these groups. I wanted something a little bit more intimate. I wanted something that was more family oriented, just as well as just being around people that I have grown up with, or the people that I know. Not to say that I didn't want to get out of an uncomfortable shell, because even in this process of this new church, I have been experiencing and like coming out of my shell even more, but it's what I needed. It's the push I needed. It's what I needed to keep going. And this has probably been around, even though there's so many changes going on in my life, I do believe that this is one of the happiest times of my life because I'm experiencing what David is. And I wrote down a few notes about like what I was thinking, and I wanted to explain who I was. And so I have become now the David that can express exactly how he feels, the David that's not afraid to step out of the box and push past what his comfort level is, the David that can dream higher than what his mind tries to tell him, the David that sees himself doing and being greater than where he currently is, the David that's not afraid to share his faith. And those are things that I feel like, not that I lost them, but they were just in the distant back of my mind. And I'm finally able to get back to that point in my life where I'm actually able to push forward in who I always was, but it like took a back seat for a while. And I'm not quite sure why, because I realized how much has changed about me as I've been going through different things and experiencing different things, and then just finding like, oh, that was me. That's something that I enjoyed. But even if you go back to like the very beginning of my chapters, I've learned to give myself grace, because if you go back to the very beginning, what I went through, the brain injury, different things like that, I hate to keep re-emphasizing that, but that is a huge event that can change the trajectory of your life. And so I really wanted to get into that place where I recircled back to those thoughts and those feelings and those emotions that kind of held me back from really experiencing the true fullness of who God created me to be and who I am. And so revisiting that and really finding all of those different pieces has helped me to really come into me and realize that I am who God created me to be. And I know that sounds so cliche at times, but it is such an amazing feeling to be comfortable now and not uncomfortable in certain things where, like, what is somebody thinking about me? What are the things that are going on around me? And I'm just kind of focused and seeing myself even when I'm walking into uncomfortable places, or even when I'm not feeling like I'm doing the best that I can. It's like, yes, you are David and you can do anything you set your mind to. And that's something that we grow up like as children, we grow up like that and we're told that, but we seem to along the way kind of forget those things. So I am truly blessed that that's something that's been able to occur even within the past year of me involving myself in a new environment, spiritually wise, like in the spiritual realm. Purpose involves finding your true self, not just the giftings of what you have, but what kind of person you truly are. And I wrote that down because recently I was listening to my pastor, and this was even, I think, before he said something similar to this, and it agreed with me and my spirit. I was finding myself through, oh, I'm an actor, oh, I sing, oh, I do this or do that, and I can do this, and all of these gifts I have within me. I can write, I can, all of those things. But that is not the totality of your purpose. Yes, some of those things fall into place to line up with the purpose, but that's not truly just everything you are. And that's hard for some people to say sometimes, because that's where they find their validation, is through their giftings or through their talents. And I have learned those can only take you so far, because when you come down to the root of who you are or what you are inside, that stuff is going to come out regardless of whatever gift or talent you have. Whatever's deep down inside there, it will eventually surface. I was thinking one day, I try to stay so nice and at peace all the time. And it's something that is a daily practice for me. But when it comes down to it, I was thinking back, I was like, is that truly who I am? On the inside, if I had a thought like that and I didn't express it, is that what I truly, is that the real me? But I was like, no, no, no. When you become a Christian, there is a path that you do try to take, that you are trying to venture on, that you are trying to be more like. And so even though that doesn't always agree with every single thing that is within me, it is something that I strive for. So yes, that's the reason why I'm going to continue carrying myself with grace and kindness and try to be as genuine and nice to everyone as I can be in this world, because that's what I'm called to do. And so there's a lot of times your mind will play that battle with you. No, this is what I want to tell this person all the way off. And sometimes you must, because that has to just get out of you. But it's a daily process of trying to get those things changed around so that you can walk and be at peace and know that you have tried your best to be the example that you want to see the rest of the people or you want to see the world like. That's why when it comes down to who I support, what I look at, what I try to surround myself with, it's important that that lines up with some of the things that I am. Now, that doesn't mean just caring, like going around anybody that is like me or just having to separate myself that much, but it is a process of outgrowing or letting more of yourself show to the other so that they can want to be like, you know what? He does seem at peace when he does this, or that did work out for him that way. So I didn't even have to do all that. That's what it is. And I know everybody in the world doesn't want to be like, I don't want to be the example. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be that. But I do believe everyone has an accountability to show that, because if you complain about everything else is going on or what everyone else is doing wrong, you never get to the core root of what yourself or what you are, because you're looking at what everyone else is doing and what are you doing to show that's what you want to see from someone. If you're doing the same thing, what sense does that make? So I really got down to the true essence of that, and I just think that there's a lot of things that you don't need to necessarily change the nature of who you are, but you do know that there is a lifetime worth of trials and lessons that you're going to go through that is going to challenge that human nature that we have, or that those things that naturally want to come out. But it's up to you to really work through those things and look at those trials and say, how can I better myself in that trial or that lesson that I was learning just a moment ago? And I've also realized that I try to make sure that everything is figured out. That's another thing. And we're not going to have everything figured out, because in life, we're going to need to learn more things. Like if we have everything figured out already, what is the point to continue to live? Like you have to live to learn. And I understand that so much clearer now. Life is all about lessons. And I just love being on this consistent journey of self-discovery that I'm on. I really thought that I was on it like 6 or 7 years ago, even after my divorce and all that. I was like, okay, I'm on the road. But I am learning so many things each and every single day. And just like I was talking about earlier about environments, there are many things that I now know that if I am around it, I can't sit still sometimes in the mess. So there will be a time when I will hear negativity, arguing, something that just doesn't jive with my spirit. And I used to just sit in it and be like, I'm just going to take this and let it all sink in my skin. And this is just what it's going to be. But then I was like, no, 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 no. I have to set that boundary. That's something I learned in therapy. I have to set that boundary and say, no, I can't be around this. Either I'm going to go out the room, or you guys are going to fix the way that either you're talking or the negativity that's coming out. No, you need to be positive in this moment. Don't automatically go to the negative thought of what's going to happen, because if I want to think positively, I'm going to need the people that are around me to be thinking positively as well, so we can go up together, so that we can move together. We don't have to be on any level. So everyone has their choices. Everyone chooses what they want to do and what they want to be and how they are in life. But it is up to me to make sure that I'm keeping the truest form of myself and I'm not changing myself for anyone else, so that I can maintain and get to my purpose, get to those things that are planned for me. So it's becoming such like a cut line thing with me where like, no, no, no. In order for me to go here, I can't do that same thing, or I can't be that way. And it's hard sometimes because there are so many things that are fighting us from all the angles. And you do want to give up sometimes. You do want to just throw in the towel and be like, look, I'm going to just do me. And no, no, no. That do me stuff, I had those moments. Trust me, the do me moments, they feel great for that moment, but they are not the answer to the problem. They're not the answer to the problem. They're not going to get you the result that you wanted or that you saw for yourself. So I'm learning that. I'm learning that in pieces every single day. And parts of it have been healing for me. I want to always reevaluate how I want to show up in the world when I am going into these places. How can I adjust and be around different types of attitudes and personalities and who I want to spend more time with. What things can I do to make sure that I ensure not only my mental safety and my personal space? What can I do to change those things? So I'm making sure that I'm aware in all of those times. I do believe that we have to be around everyone that thinks and acts similar to you, but I do believe that you have to be around people that respect you and know the true essence of your heart. Just like I was saying before, I don't expect to be around everyone that's like me or everyone that has similar spirits to me, but I hope that they know where I'm coming from. Because if you don't know my heart and my value or what I'm really trying to bring to the table, then we're going nowhere. You're going to never trust me. You're never going to really know what I mean or what I say. So I'm very, when it comes to that, I tend to be a little bit sensitive, because if someone misunderstands what I was saying or where I was coming from in the heart, or I might come along a little aggressive sometimes. I am willing to say that I am a little bit aggressive sometimes when you get to know me. And so that aggression sometimes is just me really trying to make sure that you heard my point, because I feel like sometimes it has always gotten muffled, and that comes from other things too. I don't know, but I try my best to make sure that I'm not coming on that way so that people know my heart. And so that's something that I'm working on, and it's okay to still be working on things that are going on with you, or that you feel like you can fix a little bit better. But all I can ask is that God continues to do the work in me. And that's what I've come to know. That's what I've come to be able to say a lot more now, because before I would just sit back and be like, well, I can do all this work on my own. If I do this and do that and get all that done, I will be going ahead and I'm good. I'm great to go. But at the end of the day, there's some things that only the fixing from God can do. And I do believe that that is something that I am truly, with all my heart, working on. In this year, I've also learned that it's okay for everyone not to vibe or like you. I used to not be able to stand when people did not like me. And I'm being so serious about that. But as I get older, I do not have the time or space to cater to what everyone in the world's vibe is. So that's something that I had been working on, maybe even before I stopped doing the podcast. I was already working on the, I don't really care if you like me or not. I still am going to be nice, kind, cordial, everything that I can be to the best of my ability. But some people still ain't gonna like that. And it just used to bother me, because it's like, am I doing something wrong? I would put it on myself if someone didn't vibe. But I had to realize that sometimes that's the inner of someone else that it just doesn't vibe with you. And that's okay. All you can do is be as genuine and as great of a person to the other person as you can be. If they don't vibe with you, that is quite all right. We'll keep it moving. We will always be cordial. We're never going to get upset. We're going to continue moving the way that we always have. And that's okay. So I'm glad that I'm finally realizing that, because that's helped me to get back to the David that I am. I was trying to shift and shape myself in different ways in order to cater to that other person that may seem a little bit timid, or like, you're just a little weird. I'll be weird, but that's me. Deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So those are the places that I've been going, and I'm very, 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 very happy about that. And when you truly, truly begin to know who you are, there are some that will be uncomfortable with it, even if, they buck against you or try to sabotage you entering that form of self-awareness or self-comfortability. You have to move forward, because people will fight that sometimes. There will be times when you will do something that somebody's like, I don't remember you doing that before, because they were so used to you doing things the old way, or, oh, you acting a little bit brand new at this moment. Yeah, I might be a little brand new because I'm actually coming into the full version of myself. And, we might not be in the same season. We might be in a different season of life where you want to go here, I'm gonna go over here, because that's what I'm going to do as an individual, as a person. I have the right to do that. So those are great examples of things that we as people can do to really find ourselves and find that purpose in our lives. It's crucial. It really is crucial in order to get to your purpose. I found something on the internet that was quite interesting, and I just wanted to read it. It came from a page called Raise the Vibe Tribe. I think I did follow them, and it had this written out. Your purpose is not the thing you do. It's the thing that happens in others when you do what you do. Oh, that was mind blowingly so on point. When I read that, I just want to read it one more time. Your purpose is not the thing you do, it's the thing that happens in others when you do what you do. It goes back to everything that I just talked about, because if you don't maintain the trueness to yourself, that person may never see, or you might have something in you that's going to reveal their purpose to them. So if you're not being yourself, or you're not being the truest version of who you are, or the person that you've learned to be, or the person that you've grown to be, then you're messing up either someone else's flow of purpose sometimes, or you are not really giving them what they need in order to continue to move in this world either. um Things happen in people when you walk in your purpose. People feel better about themselves when you walk in your purpose. People gravitate towards you when you're walking in your purpose. I i am i can't stress this enough. I am still on my journey to finding parts of me that I have to uncover or take out of the box from things that I might have put away. There are things you have to do to get that back. So at the end of the day, I don't want the only effect I have on people is, oh, you can act really well, or oh, you sing wonderfully, oh, you speak so well. Oh, how did that give or impart or change your life for the better? What things did that give you for me doing that? Yes, it uplifted you at the moment, but what did it do? And sometimes it is connected. Let me not throw off acting, singing, and all those things, because those are parts of things that help people to say, like, oh, maybe I want to go sing. Oh, maybe I want to go act. Oh, maybe I would like to learn how to speak before large crowds or do different things like that. Those are crucial things that, you may be able to impart to somebody to inspire them to chase their purpose as well. But you don't want to just get stuck on just those talents or those giftings. You want to broaden that and be like, what can I do to change the trajectory of your life in a good way, in a positive way? So I'm sitting here next to something that you're going to see this entire season of Coleman on Purpose, and I have it here for a reason. This is, as you can see, it's to my left, but it's probably to your right as you're looking at this. This is a character from Peanuts, and this was something that I was looking at on the internet for probably about a year and a half to 2 years. And I kept saying, I want to get that. I want to get that. I want to get that. And I was putting it in, I was like giving hints to people like, I would like to get that. So yeah, maybe you can get that for me, because this is not cheap. I did a whole thing on YouTube about this doll. It's not cheap, but it's something that I really wanted. And when I got it, you just don't know the happiness that was within me, because this character actually from Peanuts, even though, they had a whole time with Franklin, because, the Thanksgiving table, him sitting on the side of the table, and all the rest of the Peanuts were sitting on one side and he was at the table by himself, all of that. But this character was so different because he is different than all of the rest of them. Not just because he's black, he's just him. And as I look at this character, and as I just think about my growth and the things and the childlike person that I am at times, it just brings me a lot of happiness and joy to just kind of watch him, because it almost takes me back to, just the essence of how I grew up, what I was, different than everyone. And he is just a testament to that. And I mean, I don't even know how I got that off from a cartoon character, but if you look at, my house, everything I have, I'm a very nostalgic person. So this was something that I just wanted to have on this season, just sitting here. I don't know if I'll have him the seasons after this or whatever, but this season I felt like it was appropriate to have him, so you can see the growth, the growth that's been happening. This is no longer me, even though I look at this and I can say this character probably was a little bit kind of like how I was. But this is no longer me. I've grown into this man you have sitting here as a person searching after purpose, trying to fulfill the things that God has for me and what he wants for me. And it's just, I look over here and I'm like, look at everything. I was sitting here the other day and I was like, David, you're really out here doing this. I'm back. Like you are out here. You own a house. You own your own house. You are working a full-time job. You are acting. I got back out and I was acting. I was in 2 productions at my church. You don't know how much fun it was for me and how much of a release it was for me to get back out there and do those things again. I am knowing how to navigate relationships with others, and just can I just pat myself? I'm very proud of myself finding a church that I absolutely love. And I'm not trying to nitpick and find things wrong like I was at some of the other churches that I went to. I didn't go to too many churches, but I would always find something that, would irritate me. No. Every church is going to have something that, may have something off, or that you just might not vibe with, but it's up to you to be there like, oh, well, I'm a purpose person. I'm a change person. I like to go in here and we're not here to just shake things up or disturb anything, but we're here to insert ourselves, that difference, that different vibe that is not like everything else. Be that. Go in, walk in who you are, because it's so important that we do that as people, as individuals, as human beings. That's what God wants from us. That's what the world needs from us, is to be that person that we are and who God has called us to be. So I am beginning to love and care for myself, and I'm unlocking the door to my purpose, or the many purposes. There's not just one, but many purposes in life and living in this world. So that is my 42nd episode of Coleman on Purpose. I forgot what chapter this is. I think this is chapter 28. Chapter 28, called I'm Back, David. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. I have so many great things in store for this season of Coleman on Purpose. Wonderful guests, wonderful topics. Make sure you're tuning in. Follow me on Instagram at Deluxe Dave, DeluxeDave. You can also follow me on, I don't want to say it, but TikTok for now, but we're going to say TikTok. You can follow Coleman on Purpose on TikTok. That is a special page I've dedicated to the podcast. There's also a Coleman on Purpose page on Instagram that you can follow. I will be creating so many new things, and I'll be coming out with so many great clips from this season. So make sure you're tuning in, and tell others to please tune in to Coleman on Purpose. All it takes is downloading the podcast and listening to it on any of the streaming platforms like Apple and Spotify. So make sure you are tuning in to Coleman on Purpose. It's also on Amazon Music, so make sure you check it out on there as well. For now, please remember, I haven't said this in so long, you are unique, you are loved, and you are created for greatness. Till the next episode. Holla.